So we're exactly 40 turns away from the end of this campaign, and I made a comment in the last video that I thought that honestly it's got to come down between Mongolia and Rome at this moment. If Ethiopia or Russia don't do something, they don't declare war on somebody and acquire more lands and cities, I don't think I could see them winning out here. And I figured, we should probably do one last check over the religion overview screen. Now, it's pretty late in the game, so, I mean, honestly, there's pretty much going to be no changes in the religion in the next 40 turns. Maybe if anything, well, no, it's pretty stagnant now. I think maybe one or two cities might maybe convert to some other religion in the next 40 turns, but that's about it. So right now it's clear that the Tibet religion, Buddhism, was the clear winner in the world, but at the same time, I mean, Judaism wasn't too far behind from the Mali Empire. Surprised that Mali stayed alive for this long. It is interesting to see that a lot of the nations with the powerful religion are still around. Only Arabia and Afghanistan were destroyed. Well, I guess nobody was following the Afghan religion. Arabia, with Islam and the holy city of Mecca, still has 20 cities following Islam, so that's a pretty big deal. I mean, that's pretty good for them. Shintoism never really got, or Shinto never really got off the Japanese mainland. I mean, it did a bit, but not much other than that. I mean, I'm guessing maybe some of the New World cities are following Shinto. And then Tibet was luckily in a good spot where they were able to convert the Russian cities, the Mongolian cities, the Middle East. They did even move over just north of Champa. I think that was the big reason why, is that Russia and Mongolia were very powerful empires. They both had already had roots in the Buddhism religion of Tibet, and they just continued to either allow Tibet to convert the provinces over, or I'm sorry, the cities over, or they did it themselves. You could always buy a missionary from a city that follows a religion that you specifically want, and you can just spread it yourself. But anyways, yeah. So clearly Tibet won, but Judaism didn't do too bad either. Obviously, being the only African religion, it was going to have quite a bit of success, especially because there's no Ethiopia. I'm sorry. Eastern Orthodox also was in Africa. However, I think that Mali got to Europe faster. I believe they did. Actually, a lot of Roman cities are following Islam, surprisingly. But yeah, Iberia was all Jewish. The British Isles, for the most part, except for London. London was not Jewish. Buddhism reached all the way over towards Scandinavia. I mean, dang. So Buddhism was the dominant religion. Kind of very interesting there. So I discussed in the last video, as we wait for our next war to pop up, because I'm pretty sure this is the first time in the campaign where there are no wars. It's been a long time since we've had a time where there are no major conflicts, not even minor conflicts. And I guess it makes sense. I mean, obviously, when you progress far enough into a campaign, and as you continue to lose civs, it's just less likely. The odds of civs constantly being at war with each other is going to be much less likely. And I think there are no major conflicts going on. And I know that there are wars still declared, but I mean, like, there are no front wars. Like, I know one that I can think of. I mean, we've got Persia and Rome, but yeah, nothing is really going to happen there, except for Rome's going to probably lose their submarines. And then we have India, Champa, and Tibet all still at war with each other, I believe. Not 100% if India and Champa are at war, but I know that India and Champa are both at war with Tibet. And then Mongolia is at war with India, but they haven't decided to do anything. I guess there are front wars, but it's just their cold wars for the most part. So I discussed what we would do for the next AI-only battle. I do want to revisit an AI-only world for the next one. I think I will, because my Byzantium is declared, or Zulu have declared war on Byzantium. My urge to revisit a world map like this, and I've just got to include the New World, man. I've got to include the New World. That's why, I mean, it's funny, because last time I did an AI-only world, I did the same thing. I did a kind of a conquer colonization game where everyone started off in the New World, the Old World, and I wanted to see who would colonize the most. And I just have this itch that needs to be scratched. So I will probably do another AI-only world. And it does seem to be pretty, you guys like it. Okay, so now the Champa and India are at war, which doesn't really matter because the Champa have already, that doesn't really matter. Yeah, I just need to see it. I think that from here on out, I think that the battles, first of all, for 2016 are going to be really, I think, really, really good, in my opinion. Only because I finally got this down. You know what I mean? And I love this new format. I love that we get to choose who we think is going to win. You know, no more late game science victory from a Civ that honestly doesn't deserve it, because I felt like I had to give victories whenever I included a cultural victory, a science victory, or whatever it is. I felt like I had to give the victory to, whatever, Civ snuck in and won at the last second, because there were a few commenters that honestly believed that, well, we should really give it to them. I was always like, I don't want to, but we do have to. So that kind of, I didn't like that aspect of it. I really hated that aspect of it. This way, we can just say, no, domination only, and we choose the winner, and we let you guys choose the winner, and we look at the infotics together, and we decide who we thought played the best game. I think this is much, much better. Much better this way. Although, I mean, we still haven't come to the end of this series, and there might be some controversy on who wins this campaign. I mean, honestly, if you picked Ethiopia, Rome, Russia, or Mongolia, you should be feeling pretty good about yourself, because you picked really, really well. You did good. Obviously, for the sake of time, I can't give a shout out to all of you guys who picked all 4 of these nations. It's hard enough to find all the people that picked one nation. It's extremely hard. I dread it, to be honest, because there's just so many comments for the most part, and I don't want to miss anyone. I don't want to leave anybody out and stuff like that. I don't want to, not give credit where credit is due, I guess. But anyways, yeah. So I want to revisit an AI only worlds this time around. I do plan on including the new worlds. So and this is what I'm thinking. And I'm not sure exactly how you guys feel about this. Well, actually, no, I'm not even going to say anything about it. I don't think I want to say anything about it, because I think it's what I have to do, and I want to do this, and I will discuss it. You're probably like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm going to keep it. I like to keep surprises. This will be coming out next week. I think we're only about a few, maybe 2 or 3 videos away from the end of the series so far, and I am going to continue to progress the turns, unless until we get into a war. If we don't get into any wars, then that's fine. But I'm going to continue to push the turns during the break, so that we're at least hitting. So I'm at least, doing 10 turns. I might only get maybe 6 or 7 of them are actually recorded, but I'm gonna hit next turn over the break, and until we get to turn 520, 530, 540, and then 550 to end it. But anyways. Yes, that's all I have to say about the next one. It is another AI only worlds. There will be new world colonies in North America and South America. Not colonies technically; they will be civs, and there will be mods. But these mods will be different. Not mods. They're not going to be different. They will be different. I'm not sure if all of them. I don't think, I won't include the Philippines this time. That's for sure. There's a lot of people that didn't want me to include the Philippines in the first place in this series, and I can see why now. They are a little bit too OP, so I won't be including them anymore. You look at that. Mongolia is actually doing something with their battleships. It's a miracle. There are some civs that will have to be left out, especially in Europe and especially in Africa. So something to keep in mind. I think I will probably see who was successful in this campaign, and I'll probably choose the opposite, to be honest. So since Portugal dominated Iberia, we'll put Spain in Iberia. Since Sweden, dominated Scandinavia, I'll put Denmark in Scandinavia. It just needs to be very, very separated. It can't be at all as close, because I want to include Australia for sure. I want to include Australia. Not sure about New Zealand. I don't think there's enough land here to include in New Zealand. But I like, obviously, Brazil, and we'll put a few more mods in here. Probably not Native Americans. I think we're gonna do a New World only. Maybe even I might include the USA. Maybe even Texas. Maybe if there's a Confederate States of America, I might look into that a little bit. That's some of the ideas that I've been having, depending on their ratings, of course, because that is extremely important that they have high enough ratings so that we can do that sort of thing. We need to make sure that I need them to be stable. I can't have the mods break, because I've had a series in the past where the mods did break the series. Well, they didn't break the series, but I mean, like, they kind of, luckily I had done tests beforehand. I'm still to this day really, really upset at this mod, and I guess the mod maker too. I mean, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. Oh, there we go. Finally, England versus Sweden. There we go. It was the Blackfoot mod, and it had like this like invisible roaming bison. It was this resource that only the Blackfoot mod could use, but and they were all over the map. But when an AI was on top of this, ended its turn on top of an AI only invisible, I guess an invisible bison that only the Blackfoot could use, it would lose health. And it was so frustrating because it took me forever to figure this out. And I'm like, why even have the mod up if it's doing that? You know what I mean? Take the mod down, or there was no, I don't think there was even a sign that says that this mod's pretty much broken. Because the AI was so confused. When an AI loses health, it just sits there and it just heals. So it was just sitting on top of this invisible bison, and it was losing health and it was healing, and losing health and it healing. So it completely broke the entire campaign. Luckily, I finally figured it out, but it's like, that's really frustrating. Like, just take the mod down. That's a completely broken mod. But anyways, so anyway, we have a big war between Sweden and England, and I do think that England might have a chance here, because remember, most of the English Empire is out. They are out in the Pacific Ocean, actually, because remember, they were looking like they were going to engage in a war against the Japanese. And they never ended up doing that because they just like to have Cold Wars with the Japanese. The English and the Japanese like to have Cold Wars. I do want to talk about another thing eventually, but the fact that Portugal and Mali didn't colonize, unbelievably upsetting. And Rome is continuing to colonize through Mali territory. Like, that is insane. Rome has been the only colonizer in this game, and oh man, they have done really, really well for themselves. Without any big wars happening, if this is what the AI decides to do for the rest of the series, I think it's safe to say that Rome wins. I think it's safe to say if Russia or Mongolia don't go to war with each other, or if Russia doesn't try to push their borders, I mean, Rome is going to get down another settler, at least one more, if not another. Yeah, they've got another one coming through there, though. They're going to get probably maybe two more. Possible. Wait a second. No. Wait, where'd that one go? There's one out here. We got Mali versus the Philippines. There will be no big impact there. I thought I saw someone else. The Boer versus Mali. Ooh. Now, do the Boer have a navy, though? I don't think they do. I think they're entirely... Oh, they do. They definitely do. But these privateers will not be enough. Ooh, Ethiopia is starting to line up. See, this is really good for Ethiopia. This is really, really good for Ethiopia, because potentially, if these two are going at it, now we have Rome versus Mali. Now, will Ethiopia join in, though? That is the big deal. This is the second time that the Roman AI has declared war on a civ that they're moving through their territory. They did the same thing with France. It was still a success, but they still did the same thing with France. I do not believe that Rome will be able to take over anything from Mali. I don't think. Actually, they might. Look at all the units they have in North Africa. But it's just going to be hard because they've got to trek through the Sahara Desert and then attack. But this is a very easy city to take, especially from attacking from the Roman territory from the north to the south. Yeah, they'll have some major success in attacking the former Songhai capital. But at that point, I think I could almost guarantee you that it's going to, after the fall of the Songhai capital, I can almost guarantee you that Ethiopia will start to attack from the east to the west. They might attack now. They look like they're gearing up for something. Maybe this is for Mali. Maybe this fleet is not intended for the Boer. I don't even believe the Boer are going to be sending anything over. Oh, we do have Ethiopia starting to send over a settler. This is going to be their first colony, surprisingly enough. Are we going to see anything else? I don't think so. Portugal could potentially send over some settlers, but they've decided against that. Sweden looking like they might have a chance here of taking over Amsterdam. They might actually have a chance. They've got all these submarines, which are going to do some major damage to the English fleet inside of the English Channel, or just, I guess, just outside of the English Channel, I should say. Sweden has a lot of troops, and they can send over even more naval. Actually, no, these units are trapped in the Baltic Sea. I don't believe that Rome would give up open borders. We have Rome plotting against Shaka. I've got Ethiopia plotting against Austria. Catherine also plotting against Shaka. Okay, so let's see what England does. Let's see what their rebuttal is. There is an artillery unit located on the coast. Ooh, they destroyed quite a few units. Wow. And I think a majority of that is coming from the air in the English Channel. Well, nonetheless, I mean, Sweden still has a lot left. They're going to be able to destroy, more than likely, this submarine. I'm sorry, this privateer with the submarine. Maybe even artillery. We also need to keep an eye on what Rome does. And if they do decide to engage, yes, they are. Wait a second, did somebody get nuked? That looks like a nuke almost. No, I don't think... This has been pillaged. Oh, okay. Well, when did this stuff get pillaged? Or has it been pillaged? I don't know. Have not been paying attention. I don't believe Mali has any atomic weapons. Now, I think Rome does, but they might not be using it right now. Yes, they do, and they have it on a carrier, so they might be trying to move south to get that into play. Are these units moving? Now, there's no infrastructure connecting these three cities. Something very important to keep in mind. How the Philippines and the Indonesians doing? Champa are moving through territory between both of these nations, but that is it. Mongolia is trying to attack Delhi. They are also destroying a lot of units in the process. Mongolia is, that is. Persia and Rome never really got going, and that's kind of what we figured. And let's go back to Sweden. Sweden's got Amsterdam into half health. This is a big city to take, honestly. This would be a big city to take. There's a machine gun. There's 2 melee units. Another one ready to reinforce. The problem right now is that Sweden doesn't have a big navy. If they had a navy, they'd be able to, well, if they had a stronger navy, they'd really be able to take over Amsterdam, I think, quite quickly. But they don't really have anything here. They are still going to use that Air Force. Elizabeth's going to continue to utilize her Air Force, which is a smart decision, obviously. But Sweden, in the process, is going to destroy a lot of units. We might see maybe Rome go after England. Portugal hasn't, I guess, decided on what they want to do. Nottingham needs to reinforce their empire if they want to have a chance of keeping Amsterdam. I mean, Sweden is only going to take over Amsterdam. There won't be much more than that. I did forget about the potential of coastal battles going on in the Atlantic Ocean between the Roman fleet and the Mali cities. Yep, here they all come. Ethiopia, if you sit back and watch, you're going to lose this game. You are going to lose this game if they don't declare war. But they have something planned. I just don't know what it is. And it doesn't look good because Ethiopia, usually AIs don't send a massive sneak attack for someone close by since they border these guys. There's only 2 of these cities are coastal, so that's also a big like, I don't know, question mark, I guess. They are pillaging quite a bit, and they are sending, looks like these units, I mean, all the units from the Mediterranean are coming down south, and they're all going to be utilized, I think, in this battle, so this is going to be pretty crazy. Portugal, this might be a good time for maybe Portugal to attack. I mean, that would be big. Or even Russia. I imagine if Russia were to attack Rome right now as they attack Mali. These are all possibilities. I mean, this would be an interesting last 30 turns. So that's what I'm going to plan on doing. I'm going to continue to push the campaign till 520, and then we will continue onward. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys. Let's see what Mali does. They didn't kill any units. That's not good. And I'll see you guys next time.